Are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin.
It's going down.
It's going down.
I'm yelling timber. You better move.
You better move.
You better dance.
Giggity.
Very much like scruffy pigs to look at. And they've got big knobbly warts and lumps all over their long, hairy faces. They are very, very ugly.
Oh, Mr. Bolton, oh, Mr. Bolton, oh, Mr. Bolton, oh, Mr. Bolton.
Well, hello again, and welcome to episode 156 of There's Still Time, the AFTN podcast. I'm Michael McCall.
I'm Steve Pander.
I'm Aaron Campbell.
And as you can imagine, we are cock-a-hoop. The Whitecaps, another Cascadia Cup win. 6 out of 6 for the season now in the Cascadia Cup standings.
6 points, yeah.
Yep, 6 points. They're going to run away with their 6th title. It's 666, I think it's the number of the beast. And of course, Portland are quite beastful.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting game today. Whitecaps got the better of Portland 2-1.
Yeah, I think the interesting match. I think this was probably their best game of build-up. The way they built the play through the midfield and attacked. It just in the first half there was no finish, and that was the issue.
And there's nothing worse than having a big build-up with no finish.
Yeah, that's it's a complaint of a lot of people.
Yeah, it is. My wife especially.
Yeah. I didn't want to say anything.
But Aaron, the first half, Whitecaps played well, went in a goal down, and I have to admit, in my traditional Scottish pessimistic way, I wasn't hopeful. I just didn't see them getting back into it and getting the break, even though they had 11 shots and were enjoying the pressure. It just felt like the same old story. They just weren't going to take their chances.
Yeah, we've seen this time and time again for going on 2 seasons now where, opening 10 minutes they were great, created chances, they just can't find the back of the net, and then the other team scores, and then you really don't know what's going to happen after that. They still create more chances, but, unless you're putting the ball in the back of the net, it's not going to do anything.
And Portland's very good at, once they get the lead, they're basically killing the game. They possess the ball well, and I think we're looking through the stats. I don't think they've given up a lead this year and lost a game. They don't come back.
It's the first time this year that they've come back for a win, and it's a team. I've criticised them for not having kind of spirit, not having that fighting spirit.
Yeah.
And today they completely showed a different side to themselves. It was good to see, and it's something that this team needs. Robbo at training on Tuesday tore into them, and he did it publicly, I think, so that all the media that were there could hear it. Ripped him a new one basically, and just said that it wasn't good enough, the performances that they were putting in. David Ousted afterwards had said as well that young players are coming in, they have to show that they want to get their chance.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but they were basically lackluster in the training too, or something like that.
They have been a bit lackluster.
So essentially,
it's all
took
good natured and laughs and stuff, and it's like, I think this is a team that needs a kick up the ass, and now they've got it.
Yeah,
and this is something that supporters have been wanting for a while. Robbo after games when they've lost the lead, lost the game they should have won. It's the same story time and time again. We had the better chances. We should have won the game, but it's about damn time they got their asses in gear, and it showed today in the performance.
You know what I say? If Barry Robson was here, they would have caught a kick in the ass a long time ago.
Yes, it needs. So basically, this Whitecaps team needs more Barry Robsons.
Nothing needs more Barry Robsons.
Even the Robson household, I don't think, needs any more Barry Robsons.
Yeah. So
let's look at the goal that gave Portland the lead.
It was essentially a little bit of a giveaway outside the box, and then Nagby and Addy played a little 1-2 touch.
Oh, yes.
And Nagby crossed it in from right in the 6 yard. I think it was coming off a corner. There was a corner coming off a little earlier because Borchers was way up the pitch, and he basically
slid in at the back post.
Octavio Rivero did by tapping it in from 1 inch out. So That was essentially the goal right there.
Yeah, I noticed on that
It
play.
was against the run of play, too.
Yeah.
Because Vancouver dominated throughout the first half, I thought.
Yeah, Fraser Aird was kind of caught flat-footed on that cross into
Yeah.
the box, and it looked like Waston was wasting his time putting his hand up calling for the offside, and Parker,
That's what everybody does.
Parker got beat to the backside by Borchers, and
Yeah.
it's one of those things where if Waston tried clearing it, it probably would have been an old goal, but what can you do? Osted didn't have a chance.
It was a great little turn by Addy, though.
Yeah, that was essentially where the goal happened from, that little tap back.
But my heart sunk when that went in, because I thought it was going to be another tale of Portland coming up here, dominating. They love to come up here. They do well here, just like we do well down there now.
Yeah.
But full credit to them. Whatever was said at halftime.
Well, we were talking about at halftime. We thought it was, if they didn't get a goal before the half, we thought Porter would have totally adjusted his whole tactics, shut down Vancouver, but it didn't work. Vancouver actually bounced back at the second half.
Yeah, and I mean, they came out all guns blazing, went to get the equaliser. It came in the hour mark. Masato Kuro getting his first goal in MLS. Going to be a huge weight off his shoulders getting that. I mean, we've got Rivero getting his first goal last week. We've got him getting that goal. Perez has come close. It's something I asked Robo after the game, which we'll hear in a little bit. It's getting some confidence to these strikers, but they need to kick on now, and he needs to get a settled lineup so that they can take advantage of this confidence that they've now got.
And it was a perfect finish. Kudo had a couple chances in the first half. He missed. He didn't. And that was that one where he basically struck it almost right at the keeper, even though he had so much space and open net. But this one, he actually, this was even probably a more difficult finish. He got him on his short side, right at the near post, and he slipped it in past Gleeson.
Yeah, Kudo this season, he hasn't had a chance to find his role on this team. He he came off the preseason injury that nobody knows what it is, and he kind of struggled out of the box with maybe the physicality play of the MLS. He wasn't used to it, but he couldn't find his spot on the pitch where he can help this team out, and hopefully this is a game he can build on moving forward. Like you said, kind of gave him, he can play in this league, he can contribute to the team. And, we'll see moving forward what he does with this.
I have to say, I've doubted whether he can cope with the physicality of the league. And there was times today that Borchers kind of dominated him.
Yeah, but that's what they always said that at the beginning, even preseason, that he's a guy that likes going in the box.
Yeah.
And so you expect somebody that likes going in the box, no matter what league you're coming from, it's going to be a little bit physical.
Yeah, I mean, he likes the ball to his feet as well, and that's not the kind of game the Whitecaps have been playing. There's been a long ball forward. We saw a bit of it today, which isn't suited to him.
Well, he got set up by Chera, because Chera was trying to stop a pass from coming inside the box. He deflected it right into the path of Kudo, so essentially he was set up by the opposition there.
But it was a nice finish. It's also the kind of finish that we've seen Rivero have those chances and just not put the ball away.
Yeah.
I mean, Kudo did a kind of little shimmy, sent Gleeson went the wrong way, and then he beat him at his near post.
Yeah.
Whenever a keeper is beaten at his near post, that's not good.
Yeah, this was a chance that, even Mattocks had, past couple seasons with the Whitecaps couldn't put away. Rivero struggles, at that part of the pitch too. So it was nice to see that he has that skill level that, he can handle the MLS. But yeah, like you said, physicality, he needs to work on that, but it was a bright game for him moving forward.
And then I think less than 6 minutes later, they got the winner.
Yeah, with the most open legs we've seen from someone from Portland since that.
Oh, yeah. Did you get a response?
I got a lot of responses to that on Twitter. Maybe I won't even go there.
Okay.
But Becky with the long hair was mentioned, so I'm not sure who she is. But yeah,
that's a Beyonce reference.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. See, I'm not
Becky with
down,
the good hair.
Not down with my Beyonce.
Oh, you don't like lemonade?
No.
Okay.
Christian Bolaños getting the credit with the goal.
Yeah.
I'm still wanting to give it to AFTN writer Blas Perez. I do think that he got a hair on it, not a ball hair, but a head hair.
Yeah.
I think it just
ball to hair or hair to ball.
Yeah, it's DNA. We checked it. We asked our friends at the LAPD for some evidence
CSI,
of that.
Yeah.
They've come back and said it was O.J. Simpson.
Oh, shit.
So, congratulations to O.J. on getting his first goal for the Whitecaps and giving
us a game winner too.
Yeah, game winner. But I mean, poor old Jake Gleeson.
Yeah, no, that was a tough one for him for sure.
Last week, hero, player of the week, Portland win. Today,
0.
Wide open legs, ball squirms through it. Didn't know what hit him, and yeah, 2-1 Whitecaps. It was unexpected in a way, just because we're not used to them fighting back, but deserved 2-1 win in the end. Porter felt that his side should at least have had a draw outfit, but he whines about everything anyway, so it's like he's never going to be happy. He didn't blame Gleeson, and you can't really, because this was a guy that made 11 saves, a couple of phenomenal stops as well, one off Bolaños in the first half.
Yeah.
From where we
Mosqueda.
were sitting. Was it Mosqueda?
Mosqueda from in close, I think it was.
It was the one that kind of swerved and he
from
kind
in
of got
close.
his hand up.
Yeah, it was Mosqueda. I'm almost 100% sure on that. Or my match report will be wrong.
He verified it on Twitter.
Oh,
It was
okay, so
Mosqueda.
that's-
Somebody on Twitter told me.
But I mean, Gleeson had a really good game. He looks a really good keeper for them. And I was saying to you that people from New Zealand don't play football.
Yeah.
And you said, yeah, they do. And then he let that in. So I
guess
think
they
was
don't.
proved correct. He was
But-
probably dreaming a sheep.
Yeah.
When the ball came across, he had a sheep in his mind, just saw this white thing coming towards him, and then all these sheep memories came flooding back through his legs, as a sheep will go. Can vouch for that. And poor old Jake the Shepherd let it in.
And if he doesn't, because I think their starting keeper is out for like a month, and so you're going to see Gleeson more. So if he doesn't, if he obviously he was up high, down low this week. They got a midweek match against Dallas on the road, and then if he doesn't come through with that, I think the honeymoon might be over.
But 2-1 Whitecaps. Before we talk any more about the game, let's hear a little bit now from both head coaches. We'll only hear a little bit from Robbo because you can find out on the Whitecaps website, and we'll hear a little bit from Grumpy Cat himself, Caleb Porter. No tissues were handy today, but he did his best.
What was the message at halftime?
Help. I thought from the first minute to the last minute, I thought the intensity of the team, the effort, the application was spot on. And the football took care of itself today. I think we played some super stuff. We didn't score enough from our chances. And I said to him at half time, it's a good performance, but the result we're on the wrong end of. And, sometimes you've got to roll your sleeves up, pull your socks up, and get on with it. Don't feel sorry for yourself. And the boys didn't in the second half. We continued with the intensity and continued to create chances. And I think it's a little bit fortuitous, the winning goal, as it happened. But, give Jake Gleeson a lot of credit. He made some wonderful saves again this week. So I think we deserve to win.
I think that's football gods evening out a little bit with that winner.
I'm a firm believer if you put the work in, you get the rewards out, not just in football, but in any walk of life. The most successful people put in the most hardest hours, the longest hours, and the football teams are no different. And if you put the work in, you get the rewards. And today we got our rewards.
Now, we've talked about you maybe not knowing what kind of Whitecaps team this is yet this year. You must be hoping the team that came out in that second half is the team you're going to kind of maybe unlock now, a fighting spirit and never giving up.
I think we showed today what we can be. Some of the football, as I said there, from certain players. And I think every man from 1 to 11 was very, very strong. But that's the standard I require from them. When they drop below that standard, me and my coaches, we've got to be on these guys because they're good players. They don't mean to turn in bad performances or not play to the level, but as long as they put the work in, and especially in derby games, we talked today, great atmosphere to sell out here. The MLS Cup champs, who were a good team, very, very good team. They got the player of the month in the team. We limited him to one chance maybe, and they got the noses in front. So maybe it was just our day.
Looking at the striker, talking of confidence, Octavio scored last week, missed out today. Blas has had a few close calls. You must be hoping now that you can maybe get a steady run in the team with these guys and just unlock them a little bit.
Yeah, definitely, and Nico's included as well. Nico again was strong today in his performance and maybe should have scored. Keeper made a great save. And at certain times through the season, there's going to be players that are in form and not so in form, and that's why the rotation will still continue to happen. But I want nothing more than a settled side, and that will be dictated by the group of players in there, especially over the next couple of weeks when we've got a number of games in midweek. So I look forward to it because it'll be nice and exciting if we can follow up with performances like that.
And with another sort of 3 games in 8 days spell, how are you prioritising a home game on Wednesday or a Canadian derby on Saturday?
Do you know what? I just got asked that question there. I said, I've got no idea at the moment. It's a special day for me today, my father's birthday. And at half time, I walked in the toilet and I'm talking to myself. And one of the coaches said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Bring me some luck, Dad." And it was his birthday. So he bought me some luck. with a mistake from the goalkeeper, I know, but he brought me some luck. And it's Mother's Day tomorrow, and I've got 2 kids who are looking forward to Mother's Day, and I'm scrambling around to get a present. So happy Mother's Day to all those special mums out there.
Thought we deserved something out of the game, at the very least a draw. But credit Vancouver for that second half and clawing back in and scoring 2 goals. The reason I felt we deserved something out of it is up 1-0, started the second half, thought we were in great position, we're getting counterattacks, and we do a bit better on a couple of those chances that we had, which were very good opportunities. Then the game's different. Obviously, we're up 2-0, and now it's very difficult for Vancouver. But at the very least, if you don't, score the second goal, we need to buckle down and ride the game out. I thought the first goal turned things a little bit. It was kind of a broken play off a throw-in, deflected a little bit, and scored a Decudo. And credit to him, he took it well, kind of slid it to that near post at a tight angle. And then I thought they had a little bit of momentum after that. Like I said, I think that goal turned things a little bit. Prior to that goal, I thought it was all us, and it looked like we were going to score the second goal and get the 3 points. But momentum, games change goals, or goals change games, and the momentum turned, and thought they got the second goal. A little bit unfortunate on that one as well. So, they get 2 goals, now it's 2-1, and, I thought at the end, we made a good push, and we had some very good chances. This is one of those, when you watch the tape, you're going to see shoulda, coulda, woulda. We should have been up 2-0, and we should at the very least pull the goal back to go 2-2, which is why I feel like we deserved something out of the game. But, that's the way it falls some games. We need to put it behind us. Congratulations to Vancouver. They get a big 3 points. We'll see them in a couple weeks here, so hopefully we can get those 3 points back.
You haven't made a clean sheet so far this season, and you only have scored 3 goals in the first half in 3 games. It seems like a little bit of a recipe for disaster. Why do you think you can change things around?
Yeah, certainly you want to score the first goal. Percentages show that the team scores the first goal usually gets something out of the game. We've been in a position on the road 3 times to take all 3 points. So that's something we got to look at. For me, it's more the second half, in those games, because we scored the first goal in all 3 of those games on the road, and we're in a great position to, so in theory, if you look at that, we've dropped 7 points, because we gave up 2 late goals, and then we give up obviously 2 goals in the second half. But sometimes the first half, we look at international level, you look at most top level games, those are tight halves, first half. And, the second half things start to open up depending on who gets the first goal. But yeah, I think there are times we can start more aggressive, and definitely we need to, do better defensively. But, if you look back on, our evolution to this point, we've had to figure out some things in the back line, and replacing Jorge and losing Ridgie for 8 games, so that's a part of it as well that plays into those trends.
So a happy Carl Robinson and a deflated Caleb Porter there. Porter feeling his side deserved to get something out of the game.
I don't see where you came from that though.
No,
well, I thought they played
had
well.
The chances. They could have easily finished 4-3 or 5-4.
Yeah, but they gave up a lot of chances too. I think they were
Whitecaps deserved to win.
So they were outshot about 26-9. So, but they had converted on some of their chances, they could have been up 2-1 or got the second goal and put it out of their reach.
Like Porter said in the press conference, it was a could have, would have, should have game. Yeah. We've seen those in Vancouver time and time again. So it was kind of nice seeing another team playing that type of game and not us. So, he can pout about it. He can move on to the next game on Wednesday.
We'll talk about a couple of the Portland players in a bit, but we'll talk about some of the Whitecaps guys first. Well, first of all, guys, who was your man of the match?
I was leaning towards Bolaños or Kudo. I'd probably give it to Kudo just because he brought the game back for the Whitecaps. He finally broke through and got that first goal, and I think that kind of opened the floodgates for everything else.
Yeah, I'd give mine to Bolaños. He, 3rd goal in the 3rd straight game. He led the
That was
team.
Matt player of this game, not player of 3 games.
Yes. Also this game, led the team with 5 shots, and he was just all over the pitch.
Yeah, he was solid. He was
Yeah,
very
and after
good
the
player.
Portland scored, he was kind of that player that the ball went through where he found his teammates to still attack. Because going down 1-0 with this team, sometimes it's the death march. They're down, they're not going to come back. And he kind of seemed to be that player where the ball would get to him, and he created chances for his teammates. And, that's great for Bolanos to do. So he was my player of the match.
I'm going to go with Pamadou Ka.
Oh, for all the stuff on the sidelines that nobody
He
saw.
was hilarious to watch on the sidelines. In the first half, he got a warning from the fourth official who was told to sit down. He was going crazy. He was mouthing off at him. It was when Mosqueda was brought down, and Mosqueda said to the linesman, "Oh, it's a free kick," and the linesman was shaking his head and going, "No, that's the referee's pointing for a free kick." And Ka just lost it with the fourth official. But his celebration with Kudo, when Kudo scored, that was fantastic. I thought he was going to get sent off for doing something.
The violent conduct, because
Yeah.
they actually did do the sumo bump and everything. It could have been a red card.
He'll be suspended Wednesday. Yeah.
Disco will be looking into this.
Well, he likes his disco dance, and we saw that after the Voyagers Cup on his boogie board.
Yeah.
But if we were going for a player that played, it is between Kudo and Bolaños, and I was going to go with Bolaños before Aaron said it. But thinking about it, because Kudo got the assist on Bolaños' goal, and he was busy throughout, and it was his goal that brought it back in, so I'm going to give my tip of the hat to Kudo for this one.
Yeah, and if you think of it, that's a pretty solid centre back tandem that he had to go up against.
Yeah,
Borchers and Ridgewell, like those two guys are solid.
Yeah, I hate them, but they are.
They're very good, and so it's tough to go up against them. And I thought he played really well for them.
And apart from the goals, my play of the game was a little bit. I think it was about 75th minute. Pedro Morales, and Robbo actually referred to this in his post-game chat as well. Portland broke forward really quickly. Pedro, I can't remember who it was, it might have been Ari, but Pedro closed him down, and he was going in on goal, but Pedro managed to get a little foot in and knock it back to Ousted, who cleared the danger.
That was a huge play.
That was huge, and it shows a defensive side of the game that we're needing to see from the midfielders, and it has been lacking this year. And Morales is a guy that we're used to him doing the offensive stuff, and his defensive side we don't look at too much, but I thought playing aside Laba was fantastic.
Pedro, who was second on the team with tackles this game, he had 6 compared to 7 for Laba. And when Pedro lines up in the 4-2-3-1 next to Laba, he can kind of be a defensive liability from time to time with his hustle play back. But this game, he got beat a few times, but every player is going to get beat in this league.
I don't think he should be put in that position to get beat. I think I know they say Morales is playing beside Laba, but it's Laba's role to play that middle holding midfielder, and Morales is supposed to be almost everywhere, spray the ball whenever he can. Now he should be where defensively, but it's not his sole purpose.
But one of Laba's faults is he doesn't get back a lot of the time.
He kind of roams out there too.
Back, and it's it was just great thinking from Morales, and it saved the game and got the 3 points as far as I'm concerned.
I know Laba's obviously the starter, but I think a guy who probably might play better with Morales at the back like that is probably Jacobson. Because Jacobson is pretty steady, he stays where he's supposed to be. He doesn't saunter. He gets back quicker. He's a little bit more size on him. So, but obviously Laba's going to be the starter going forward, anyways.
Yeah, and with the great play by Mosqueda lately, you have to start Mosqueda at that attacking mid role, but you need to find a spot for Morales. With his salary, his DP player, he needs to be starting for this team if healthy. So you kind of have to fit him in where he's least. Chance of him not making a mistake, but you said,
not getting injured.
By
folk clattering him with tackles, and it's playing at the back allows him. He doesn't get challenged as much, so he's not going to get tackled as much.
Yeah, and he can avoid the physicality of the holding midfielders, the centre backs. But I like the point on Mosqueda. I think by the end of the year, Mosqueda is going to be probably the most underrated player for the Whitecaps. He might not have very many. He might not have very many goals. He might not have that many assists. But the way he brings energy to the side, I think that will be very important for him.
Robbo says he's infectious.
Yeah,
and you can get creams for that, but he doesn't seem to want to clear it up. And good for him.
That's good for him. Yeah, you got to do it for the team.
And I think the lineup that we saw today, bar Mane. Mane I think can come in for Teixeira now, or Teixeira could come in for Bolaños. Basically, Bolaños or Teixeira's one of them starts, one sits on the bench, and the way that Bolaños has been playing, it has to be Bolaños, because Teixeira's had a pretty poor season so far.
But he's so good at the corners, though. He puts those corners right in their good spots, and that while they haven't got that many goals,
bring on a special teams unit?
Maybe just bring him on keep him in the corners.
Yeah. He's small enough, you'd never see.
That'd be a good change to put a 12th man in there.
Well, you also have Bolaños. He can take corners. He hasn't had too many this season, but
But Teixeira seems to have the right, almost placement and right speed on the ball and everything like that. He puts it in the right spot.
I think Bolaños is good with the set.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. Yeah.
Well, we saw today with the 2 Waston chances off headers. They have the timing down, which is crucial. In football.
And Parker came close a couple times too.
Yeah, Parker is so due this goal. It's like he just wants his first MLS goal so much. And Ginger Ninja will get it.
For sure. I thought those two had a solid game. Except for that one play by Addy. I don't think Addy really was that prominent. Valeri wasn't that prominent. Nagby was, the one pass on the goal, he was there. But other than that, Mattocks was, I think Fraser did a wicked job on Mattocks.
Yeah.
And basically took him out of the game. Mattocks, basically, the book on Mattocks is don't do any kind of tackle on him. Just let him do whatever he wants with the ball.
Let him run and give the ball up himself.
Give the ball up. Yeah, there's no need to do anything.
We heard because there was the big cheer early on when Mattocks ran at the Caps' defence and then just ran out of room and lost the ball.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, there's the Darren we know. First 10 minutes, Mattocks was really busy.
Well, he's pumped up to play against his own team.
He's up for it. I thought he was going to score, but I thought he was going to get the ball at the edge of the Portland box, forget who he's playing for, turn round and just go on a big run and score. But then when I thought score, then I realised that was fantasy.
He still would have missed shooting on his own net.
Folk have been going on. He's played well down in Portland. He played well here. He's got a goal down in Portland. He got the odd goal here. And folk are saying, well, Whitecaps aren't scoring. Why did you get rid of him? He was never going to do it here.
He wasn't the
And Robbo
answer.
told us in December, I don't think it was during our interview, but when we spoke to him after we did our end of season chat, he said he wished Darren well, no matter where he went, even if it was a Western Conference team or a rival. And he said if he scores for them, good for him, because he hasn't scored for me. And it's like, he wasn't going to score here.
No.
He couldn't unlock him, so it's like, let him go and do what he wants.
He wasn't going to get playing time here.
Not with the players they brought in.
No, he would have been behind Rivero. He would have been behind Kudo and Perez. Yeah. He couldn't be that sub off the bench like Perez has been this season. He's not physical
Even
enough.
on the wide areas, he was fourth. We would have been fourth. So there's no point in keeping a high salary like that on.
And Eric Hurtado does the same job of running and
losing the ball.
And losing the ball and missing.
Although he had a good chance today, and he's played well in
He's
USL.
done well with the WFC too, and he's got a decent haircut at long
and
last.
Hurtado's at 1/3 the salary that Mattocks was at,
sure.
and that's huge.
Hurtado's a guy that is busy, and he is going to get in positions, and one of these ones will go in, and he's a confidence player. Once he gets a goal, he's going to be confident again.
Yeah.
And his salary, in a salary cap league, that's all that basically comes into it. But we're talking about Mattocks. So Steve got to speak to not King Mattocks, but the father of the king. So what would
Emperor?
call that? Emperor Mattocks. So we spoke to Emperor Mattocks, and also a guy that I don't particularly like, but you said he was quite charming. Timber central defender Liam Ridgewell, and the blunderbuss himself, Jake Gleeson. So let's hear from the Timbers players now.
Obviously a tough loss, especially since you guys were up early. I mean, how's the team react after a loss like that?
We can't get too down about it. Obviously we'd have loved to pick up 3 points. At least a tie away. It's unfortunate. I think we deserve something out of that game. But it's a really quick turnaround. We got to move forward to traveling tomorrow, going to Dallas. So it's a bit down, but I mean the team is really upbeat regardless. So for us it's really on to Dallas.
Was it strange coming into BC Place and wearing green instead of white for your first time?
Not really. I mean, I enjoyed my 4 years playing in Vancouver, and in general, life takes you places that sometimes you don't know. Obviously, I've got all my past teammates here, and I really enjoy those guys, But for me, I'm with the Timbers now, and I'm happy to be here, so that's good.
obviously nobody wants to ever get traded and everything like that, but was it easier because you're going back to your college coach and you kind of know the system and what he expects of you?
Yeah, most definitely. I would say knowing Caleb for, I would say, 6-7 years now, and some of the guys from Akron, a couple of Jamaican guys there, so the transition was much easier, and I'm still in Pacific Northwest, so all those things add up. But I mean, I definitely enjoyed my 4 years in Vancouver, but now I'm in the Timbers.
Obviously not the result that you guys wanted. How's the team feeling about the performance today and not being able to get any points?
Yeah, obviously disappointed. 1-0 up, we're obviously thinking we can go and get the result that we wanted. But that's football. We didn't put away our chance in the second half at the start of it, and we got punished for it. So it's a tough one to take, but we've got to try and quickly forget about it as we've got to go on the road again to go and play Dallas.
Jake's had a great week last week, and also in the first half and the second half was spectacular. But how tough is it to see him, a young keeper like that, give up a goal like that?
Yeah, I mean that's being a goalkeeper. That's why people don't get to. That's why you don't pick being a goalkeeper. That's football, sadly. So obviously one mistake and people are gonna jump all over you for it. But he was fantastic last week, and in the first half, like you said, he made some great saves as well. So no, he'll be fine. We'll get behind him and get him ready for the game on Wednesday, and he'll bounce back from it.
How did you feel? How did the team feel about the defensive performance? It seemed like Vancouver got a lot of opportunities. I don't know if that was more than you guys wanted, or if it was part of. I know you guys were going for the counterattack.
No, I think they played very well. Taking nothing away from Vancouver, they played very well and slipped inside a lot and got a lot of shots away. I don't think they had too many clear opportunities, but they certainly done well and worked the ball very well. And we were defending for a lot of the game, but I felt we played very well, and for the sake of a few times that they got in, I think we've done very well. So it's just something to take on into Dallas, and certainly keeping the ball we've got to work on, and we'll be looking to do that.
And how do you kind of turn around after a disappointing loss like that to play a quick turnaround at Dallas?
Going to have about 10 pints, hopefully. No, I mean, we're always together. It's obviously a disappointing result, but there's another game. That's the good thing about football. There's another game, and we'll go into Dallas still with that confidence that we came into the game today. And on another day, we probably would have stuck a second away in the second half and made it 3 as well. So that's football. We've got to turn around quickly and try and forget about the game and take our confidence into the Dallas game.
Jake, obviously not the result you guys wanted. How do you, after a game like that, you had a lot of great saves, obviously not necessarily how you wanted to play the second goal, but how do you move past that?
You learn and move on. I think that's a big thing. It's a short turnaround before we play Dallas. So you can't dwell on it too much. It's one of those things that happens that you don't want it to happen, but it does, and it happens to everyone. So it's how you react. I think that's the big thing. And for me, it's learning from it, moving forward, and being more consistent and putting it behind me before Dallas comes on Wednesday.
Did Blas? Do you think it was going to come off him? Is that what we were expecting, or was it just? Was there any issue of the sun at all, or in there?
Yeah, I think it was just I was just caught moving forward a little bit. I wasn't set. I didn't know if he was going to hit the ball or not. So it's just one of those ones where I just got to sit and wait for the ball to come to me and not get caught moving. It's a simple ball. It's a ball I've caught 1,000 times before, but it's just one of those things where it happens, and it's how you respond, and I think that's the big thing.
You guys gave up, I think, 24 or 26 shots to them, and 12 or something on goal. From the defensive perspective in general, is there something the group needs to be doing to maybe close some of those spaces a little bit better?
I think just getting back into it, getting the back four back into it, getting that playing with the same back four and over again will help. And obviously we don't want to give up as many chances as we do, but at the same time, it's my job to keep the ball out of the back of the net, and today I didn't do that.
So that was some of the Portland players there: Gleeson, Mattocks, and Liam Ridgewell,
who would love to have 10 pints to forget about this game. So that's going to be.
He's going to be hammered by the time he gets back to Oregon.
Or to Dallas if they're flying straight there.
And I'm pretty sure he's not a guy that cares if it's craft beer or just some horrible beer.
Yeah.
Budweiser. So, 3 points in the bag for the Whitecaps, jumping ahead of Portland now in the standings. And at the time of recording this podcast, obviously still a weekend action in MLS to come, but Whitecaps up to 14 points now, just 3 points off the top of the table.
Which is amazing that they're playing like pretty poor right now. Everybody says they're pretty poor, but they're only 3 points off first place.
And I mean, that shows that all the panic and folks saying about firing Robbo, which someone left a comment on our match preview as well, that this is the time for Robbo to go, and it's like, wow, 6 points off the lead.
They'd be second place in the East. In the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, and with the parity of the MLS, like there's only 7 points between first and ninth in the West.
Yeah.
And Seattle's in ninth. So, it's wide open this season.
And Robbo has said so many times this year, and he said it again in the post-game press conference, that it's hitting form at the right time. If the team can play crap and pick up points now and stay in the mix, and then really hit their stride September, October, going into the playoffs, I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I don't care if we finish 5th or 6th, as long as we're the informed team going into the playoffs and we do the business in the playoffs. Because that's all that matters, ultimately.
And teams in the past have proved that is the way.
You can win the Supporters' Shield, which counts for nothing, gets us nothing as a Canadian club. We don't get in the Champions League because of it.
No.
So it counts for nothing, and then you could be cold going into the playoffs. So
last season, that's what Portland did. They got hot at the right time, end of the season, and it carried over in the playoffs. So if we can struggle now and gain points in the summer when we usually struggle with this team, moving forward, they're in fine shape.
And the thing is, the way they play today, that's the way they have to play, where everybody's on their game, because they can't rely on a single player. They don't have that superstar on the team that can carry the team.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
They basically have very good players, but they don't have that one player that like they faced David Villa.
Look at Montreal today, coming back to draw 4-4, and Piatti and Drogba's the guys that's doing the damage.
But they don't have that guy, so they have to play that solid game, and everybody has to pick up even. An even amount of effort. Yeah, exactly. So
they're going to be tested as a squad again, because it's another 3 games in 8 days. Next Saturday, they head out east to Toronto. I just don't fancy them getting anything.
That's why they have to take care of Chicago. Yeah. Chicago's at the bottom of the East right now, and these are the type of teams that sometimes really give them a hard time in previous years.
The Caps are now unbeaten in 5 games at home.
Yeah.
Losing the first one against Montreal, but now with 3 wins and 2 draws at home, they want to make BC Place a fortress again. They should, in theory, get all the points against Chicago, but as you say, we've had these speed bumps before when these little teams come to BC Place.
It's Chivas all over again, with a different team name.
Yeah, let's just hope Chicago's not our new bogey team, because, Chivas was just horrible. We just struggled so many times against them. But you have to think that they're going to get the business done against Chicago. Would you make changes for this one, or would you keep the changes for the Toronto game, or would you kind of make a couple now, a couple for Toronto?
I would go get the points against Chicago, and then if you want to make any changes, make the changes for Toronto. But if you're gonna do that, make a couple of changes for Chicago game. Maybe bring Mane back. Obviously, Mane would be a good
Mane's going to come back. I spoke to him at half-time today, and I was saying I couldn't believe that he'd got sent off or suspended. And he was like, he couldn't either. He didn't know until Wednesday morning. He came into training, and Robbo's like, "You've been suspended again." It's like, what for? Yeah. And during the game, I watched it. I spoke to Aaron about this as well. You thought nothing of it.
Yeah, I didn't even know what he was suspended for. I had to go back and watch the game.
Yeah.
No one at the time, he couldn't stop that momentum he had going forward. His foot just happened to land on the guy's leg.
That's the thing is the Whitecaps get suspended when they go to ground. They get suspended when other players go to ground.
Yeah, look
so
how many,
there's no luck in there.
2-footed tackles apparently didn't get subsequent suspension this week as well. It's farcical. You don't want to start the whole conspiracy theory thing, but it's not a level playing field.
And you know what? It's just getting sick and tired of it. It's like right now, I honestly don't even want to pay attention to MLS unless it's the Whitecaps, and even then, I don't really. It's getting to the point where, obviously, I come with a press pass, but I do have a season ticket. I don't know if I want to keep that season ticket and even, entertain the fact of maybe going into the stands, because why do I want to go in there?
Yeah, we've heard that, from supporters on Twitter all the time where, it's for some families coming to the game, it's a pricey option. I know for me, I got 4 children. I come to a game, I'm dropping $150 in gas, tickets, SkyTrain, feeding my kids, and
you don't want to do it like a Sophie's Choice, even though it's a totally different choice.
Yeah, like
it's just to bring the kids to the game. You don't want to choose which kids you want to bring, right?
Yeah, right.
I'd just leave them at home personally.
Yeah, like it's pricey taking kids to games, and you get here, you want quality on the pitch, which is fine. A game's fun to go to, but if the referee's going to be this inconsistent, where it's not fun, right?
You don't want to know who the referee is. Essentially, he should not be the main person in the game.
He shouldn't be if you
game.
leave a game knowing the name of a referee, then something's not right. But at least it rested Manny today, so he's going to be back against Chicago. He might play both Chicago and Toronto.
Yeah, I would basically keep the very similar lineup. I would maybe bring Manny in. And then at Toronto, that's where you can make some changes. You could bring Jacobson in.
Would you bring
Morales
in for one of the games to rest Parker? Because Parker's been playing non-stop.
I would maybe.
He's a young lad.
Maybe play him against Chicago, and then Parker could travel back east.
Yeah, I'd give Chicago, and maybe give Sam another chance against Chicago too. He wasn't that well in New York, but
I would play him against Toronto if you're going to play him. Play him against Toronto on the road.
I don't know. I think Chicago would maybe be the better game to get his confidence up because it's a weaker team.
Yeah, the Toronto Strikers could have a field day with him if he.
I mean, you don't want to destroy his confidence. He's already had a bad game. You don't want him to have another bad game.
No,
Parker, I don't know. I think I might play Parker on Wednesday because it was really hot today. It's going to be hot in Toronto. He's a ginger guy with pale skin. He can't be out in the sun too much. Mm-hmm. So I'd maybe rest him next week in Toronto for that as well. Yeah, I don't know. I think Adekunbi could be a guy to maybe get a shot on Wednesday.
And then you could maybe do Harvey.
But he might be up for an All-Canadian game as well.
Yeah, and then if you want to do it, then you could do Harvey and Jordan Smith in Toronto. You could do that
and I'd give Kudo the start again on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Rivero coming off an injury. He has struggled. Coming off the bench, and then, was good for his game.
And then Rivero can start in Toronto if you want to give Kudo a break at that point.
Exactly.
I think the players need to get a run. Perez has said that he needs a run, and he's not getting a run. He's getting off the bench. You can't start chopping and changing. If Kudo's going to score, and I'd give him Wednesday, and if he scores again, he needs to be kept as the striker, and Rivero just comes off the bench for a bit. And that might give him a kick to try and get back scoring again.
Well, his whole issue is just getting the luck and confidence. And once he gets that going, once he's able to create a goal, not just finish like a flub by a goalkeeper. Once he's able to actually create a goal and make something happen, then he'll get the confidence up. I don't think these goals where he's kicking them in from a couple of feet out, while they're great to get, I still think that the confidence does not fully restored.
Yeah, after the New York City FC game where he scored the goal, I think he had a good run today. Like he created a chance or two.
He set up Hurtado.
He set up Hurtado, yeah, for sure. So I think he can build off this moving forward. Yeah. But that doesn't mean you start him.
No.
Just he can keep building his confidence off the bench. Yeah. He doesn't have to be the starter moving forward.
And sometimes players see games different from when they're on the bench as opposed to being. So maybe he saw something and he was able to exploit it.
But it's a lot for Robbo to kind of weigh up. And I asked him after the game if he knew what one he was going to prioritise yet, and he said his only priority right now is Mother's Day, because he hasn't got his wife a present yet from the kids. So I would just give an empty box and just.
That's the kid's job. I'm not getting my wife anything for Mother's Day. That's a kid's job. I have my anniversary. I take care of her that day.
Exactly.
And Mother's Day is I have my own mother. Why am I going to get a present for them?
Yeah, I mean, I moved away, so I didn't have to give my mother a present.
If they want to get,
that's a good present. You moved away.
Yeah.
I offered my kid pencil and paper. You could do a little card.
Exactly.
They do it in school. You don't even have to give them the paper and pencil. They should do it in school.
Exactly.
And bring it home for the weekend.
My tax money should pay for Mother's Day.
Yeah. It's a nonsense holiday. God, we're grouchy even when we win, aren't we?
Well, you should take care. Honestly, you should take care of your mother every day. You shouldn't have to have a Mother's Day.
And all of our female fans are now gone.
I personally, for Father's Day, the only thing I want is to have nothing to do on Mother's Day.
The only thing I want every Father's Day is to make sure I don't get a card saying Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, that's what you want to avoid.
Yeah, so far so good. They've never been able to track me down.
You've never given them the correct address.
No. Child support agency. Shh. Anyway, so Wednesday, Chicago. Let's focus on that. Predictions.
I'm going to say 3-0 Vancouver.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 1-0 Vancouver. Osted needs a clean sheet. You know, he didn't have to do a lot today. He still made 4 saves. He's still leading the league, but his defenders, you know, need to put in a great effort and get him the clean sheet.
I think it's going to be 4-0.
Ooh, you taught me.
They are going to go crazy.
Do we hear 5?
We're going to have Kuro getting 2. We're going to have Manny getting 1. And Tim Parker is going to finally get his MLS goal.
He's due.
And then let's just quickly give a Toronto one, because we're not going to do a podcast before the Toronto game. We hope to do one maybe next Sunday after the WFC2 game.
Yeah.
But Toronto predictions, I'll kick this off with 3-0 Toronto.
Ooh. I'm going to say 2-1 Toronto.
I'm going to go with 1-0 Whitecaps.
Oh, wow.
Contrary.
I just have to be different than you do.
Yes.
It might work. And also before we sign off here, a quick shout out to the USL leading Whitecaps 2 or Western
they're
Conference.
second.
The Western Conference?
Yes,
undefeated.
Undefeated. Let's go with undefeated.
Okay. Let's give a quick shout out to the undefeated Whitecaps 2 in USL. They came up with another, this time a comeback win.
Yeah, it's like they because Kyle Robinson was at the game on Wednesday. He was sitting up beside me, so he obviously saw them coming back and said to his team, "Look, if you don't come back, we're going to play these guys."
That was the best comeback
because they brought them in for training on Thursday. So.
Yeah, no, it was a fantastic win. Kaden Chung with that huge move at the end that USL was like going crazy over.
3-2 win over Tulsa Roughnecks, and fantastic. Came back, went behind twice, came back, got the 3-2 win. Daniel Haber and Kyle Gregg showing the MLS strikers how to actually find the back of the net.
Yeah.
And I think we'll see both of them get their shot in the Voyageurs Cup.
I think Haber for sure. Haber for sure, because he's Canadian and everything like that.
Because the Whitecaps are allowed this year to use those guys in the Voyageurs Cup.
Yeah. And Tulsa, they might not have got to 3 points or even a point, but, they might have sold a kit.
Yeah, I loved their kit. Occulto. I've been called an Occulto a few times or something like that. But it was fantastic skull. It's apparently a beer. It's a really good beer, they said as well. And it's like a voodoo skull on their jersey. I loved it. I've been trying to mention this as many times as possible
to get a free
Tulsa
one.
To get a free one.
Yes, I figured
they don't
that.
seem to have bitten yet. I just remember watching all these TV shows, and apparently if you mentioned products, you got sent them. Yeah, so Tulsa shirts and Lamborghinis.
And hookers.
And hookers. 3 of my favourite things. Rugby, of course. And it's Provincial Cup time. I'm going to be over in Victoria next Saturday for the Provincial Cup final, so good luck to all the teams in that. So watch out for all our coverage on AFTN of that. And just before we go, let's tell everyone where they can find you online. Steve?
You can find me on Twitter at WhitecapsBeat.
You can find me on Twitter at AACamp81. And you can also find me writing for Prost America, AFTN, and the weekly contributor to Radio Cascadia podcast.
And I'm Michael McCall. You can find me on Twitter at AFTN Canada. Read all our stuff away from the numbers, aftn.ca. Also the Whitecaps beat reporter for MLSsoccer.com and the Western Conference reporter for USLsoccer.com. So watch out for my stuff on there as well. So until next time, as always, thanks for listening. Take care. And on the Cascadia Cup leading Caps.
Going to your first match is an experience you never forget. The atmosphere of what's going on around the pitch looks beautiful, and you always look and go, wow, I'd love to play here one day. If you get the bug, it's going to stay with you for life.
Minutes left, yeah, but there